I am curious about any other thoughts on ways that we can be bold about our evangelization of other people, right? Because it's outside of our element. It's become like a social faux pas to talk about religion or politics in mixed company and all of those things. And I'm not saying we necessarily need to go knocking on everybody's door and saying, like, do you have a moment to talk about Jesus, right? I think that's great, by the way. Big fan of the Mormons who do that. Big fans of the, when we moved into our new house, we had somebody come and knock on the door and invite us to come join their Baptist church and everything. But what are some ways that we can sort of more boldly do it as opposed to those more subtle ways?
Okay. So we heard a talk last night at our Catholic Center, and he said something really, really good. And he was talking about Saint Bernadette or something, and when she told the priest and he didn't believe her. And so, when she came back and he didn't believe her, she was like, well, all I had to do was tell him, he didn't have to believe. So I think that goes along with like the boldness, like you can talk, like talk about it, and like, don't be afraid of people not to believe. Right. Because they might not, but all we are called to do is to tell people. We're not called for them to believe. We can't convert people.
Yeah, exactly.
Only God can convert people.
The onus is not on us to make them go to heaven. We can't do that, right?
Yeah,
we can only be tools.
Yeah, exactly. So honestly, the best way to be bold is just pray in the morning and say, Lord, just allow a conversation to happen today where I can just say something. Or maybe even allow me to have the confidence to just say something without even like,
I think too, like the humility of it, of just like maybe sitting back and being like, this is not about me, even if it might be a little embarrassing or whatever. It's not about me. It's about the Lord pursuing this soul in this moment, maybe through me or in his own way.
Yeah, and people, I think, who, like, as somebody, I give some college talks and talk to high school kids and do different things, right? There is this temptation, right, working in youth ministry and stuff like that, to be like, I am saving souls. No, you're not. You are not. You're not doing that, right? You're hopefully, best case scenario, allowing the Holy Spirit to work through you in some small way to save souls. And that pride we have to tamp down.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, one way that I've really been like slipping it in there is I'm aware of the fact that most of my followers on social media are not Catholic. So since my conversion, like because I know what it was like to be on social media and everything you see be negative or sexual or like make you judge yourself or whatever. And I know my post is just one post out of the hundreds of other posts they'll see that day, but I still try to find a way to slip, like, you know, if I come across a Mary statue, I'll take a aesthetic picture, post it on my story, no big deal, right? But that might be the only representation somebody's seen that day. Like, even if they're not Catholic, like Mary came across their screen and like maybe had a second with them. And I'll have people like my stories that aren't Catholic, or I don't know if they fully understand. Like if I reshare something like a saint quote or anything like that, like they'll like it. So that just kind of tells me like somebody, even if one person needed that day, like that took nothing for me to go do that, to go post that. Like I lost nothing doing that.
Right. And I mean, sometimes you can be planting seeds that aren't going to blossom for years or decades or whatever, but something you said or something that they saw that from, does something to them that eventually is going to percolate through. Right. All right, guys. John Henry Span here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out the full video. Also, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share it with anybody who you might think is interested. Thanks for being here.